Hello everyone, it's Space Chaser again, welcome to another video. Welcome to Nottingham. It's November 2024. I'm in Bulwell in the north of the city. I'm going to walk through to the River Trent just south of the city centre, looking at the route of the former Great Central Railway London Extension, also known as the Great Central Main Line. I'm going to see what's left of it, see where it ran. And we're starting here, just north of here. You can actually walk part of the track bed up to the outskirts of Hucknall, but it's just a generic overgrown embankment. And as it stands, I've got about 10 miles or so to walk today. I think it's 8 miles as the crow flies, but obviously with diversions and things, I'm doing about 10 miles or so. I'm going to split the video into different parts because otherwise it'd be too long. So this will be part one, and this bit we're going to go from here in Bulwell down to the site of Bulwell Common station and just beyond there towards Basford. I'll put the links in the descriptions to all the parts, to all the other parts, so you can see them if you missed them. So the Great Central London Extension entered Nottingham at Bulwell here on Bulwell Viaduct, which was just about there. As you can see, it's not there anymore. When the line closed in the late 60s, the viaduct stood disused for quite a while. The first part of it was demolished in 1981. That was the steel girder span over Hucknall Lane, which is the road I'm standing next to. They wanted to widen the road and the viaduct was in the way, so they pulled that bit down first. And then over the following 8 years they demolished the rest of it. The last bit of it went in 1989. Most sources will tell you there's nothing left of it, but this isn't most sources, it's the Pacer Chaser. So I can tell you that there are 2 bits of it left, and I'll show you them very shortly. So the first visible part of it is this wall in engineer's blue brick. This is the base of one of the piers. It would have tapered in towards the top. At the top it was just normal double track width, but it's quite a bit wider here, just behind the bus shelter on Hucknall Lane. The second bit is across the valley, so I'm going to walk across. I'll show you a couple of views as I go across, and then we'll see the other bit when we get across there. So Bulwell Viaduct spanned the valley of the River Leen. This is the River Leen. It's quite innocuous, almost stream-like looking thing here. The river itself had to be diverted slightly to make room for the viaduct. Bulwell Viaduct also spanned the Midland Railway route towards Mansfield, the current Robin Hood line, next to which is the tram line up to Hucknall. You can see Bulwell Forest tram stop just through the trees there. And then just here on Basford Road is the abutment from the other end of the viaduct, the Nottingham end of it. As you can see, there's quite a long wing wall because the viaduct was on a skew. It's set off in this kind of diagonal direction across the valley to back where we've just been. And there's a better view of the abutment itself. As you can see, it's been reduced in height as well. Behind there is a bit of embankment that's not accessible. One of the few bits left, most of it's been demolished. And just next to the abutment is this club which has got the Flying Scotsman on its sign. Before we leave Bulwell Viaduct, I just should mention that it contains 6.5 million bricks, and the reason I say that is that everything I've ever read about it said it contained 6.5 million bricks, so I thought I'd better repeat the fact on this programme. There were 25 brick arches, and as we said, there was a steel girder span across Hucknall Lane as well. So just beyond there, the embankment becomes walkable for a bit. I'll show you a bit of it a bit further down. It's been reduced in height for much of its length that still remains. Just beyond there was Bulwell North Junction, where a line went off to the Great Northern's Leen Valley line, and then further down there was Bulwell South Junction and Bagthorpe Junction, both of which led onto the Great Northern's line from Derby Friargate to Colwick. All 3 junctions contained flyovers and dive unders and things like that. The kind of thing you expect on a modern motorway junction, but the Great Central put them in to stop trains going on and off the line at the junctions from getting in the way of the fast expresses. There's nothing left of the junctions. I'll show you, as I say, a bit of the embankment a bit further down. I'll explain why it's not worth going to the site of Bulwell North Junction, and we'll see sort of where the site of it was in a bit. It's a quick shot of the embankment there behind some houses on St Albans Road. So I'm on a footpath between St Albans Road and Hucknall Road, and this is the remains of the embankment. As you can see, it's been massively reduced in height. It would have been much higher than this. It would have gone across this right of way on an occupation bridge. And this is why it's not worth going down to the site of Bulwell North Junction, which is back this way. I'll just climb up the embankment for you so you can see what it looks like. and that's the answer. It's just this grassed over bit with a little bit of a muddy path down the middle of it. When you get up to where the junction was, it just widens out. It's just a wider version of this, basically. Myself and a friend had a look around there about 10 years ago, and there was nothing left to see. It's just, as I say, it's just more of this, just a bit wider. It's been regraded, it's not as its original height, and all the underpasses and flyovers and stuff have been demolished, so there is nothing to see. What I will say is that the embankment on that side's fared better than the one on that side. As you can see, it just fades into oblivion, and the path of the railway has been built over. So we're going to go up to the site of Bulwell Common station now. You see this memorial stone at the entrance to the footpath as well, HFL PC Jed Walker, 2003. I don't know the story, but I'll look it up when I get home. If you want transport to Bulwell now, you get the bus, and there are two of Nottingham City Transport's finest going past. Just thought I'd grab a couple of shots of them while I was here. We've got a third one as well. So there we are. In the days of the railway, this was an unnamed road. It was a station access road, but it now is called Swale Close. On the corner of it is the station master's house, which, as you can see, we'll see a similar one at the site of New Basford station, but it's very, very nice to see it surviving, and long may it continue. So here are the bridge parapets. The stations on the London extension were mainly island platforms, in other words one platform between the two tracks, and they were reached by staircases either down from a bridge over the track or up from a bridge underneath. This one was down from a bridge over the track. As you can see, there were three sections to it. This bit closest to me that I'm looking at would have spanned the down or Sheffield bound line. The furthest bit there would have spanned the up or London bound line, and the bit in the middle where the patchy brickwork is was the access to the station. One of the reasons that I like the Great Central's London extension so much was the quality of the architecture. You can see the bridge parapet on the other side. There was no need on this side to have a bit in the middle, but as you can see, they've put in two pillars, and that's just to maintain the symmetry of it. There would have been something similar on the other side, and I'll talk about that in a second, but it's just that attention to detail. Down in the pier for the bridge, at track level, there would have been a lamp hut for the local lampman to keep his supplies in. The signal lights were lit by oil in those days, so we would have kept the spare wicks, the oil and the spare lamp glasses for the signals down there, but it was only accessed from track level, it wasn't accessed from up here. But yeah, it's that quality and attention to detail that I really, really like about the Great Central's London extension. So on this side would have been a gap which has been bricked up, as you can see by the non-matching brickwork. There would have been an arch over the top of it, a brick arch. You can see a similar thing at Quorn Station on the preserved Great Central Railway. And there would have been some substantial wooden doors within the archway so that the station could be secure when it wasn't open to the public, like at night for example. But you would have gone through the gap, down the staircase, and then on the platform in front of you when you got to the bottom would have been the ticket office, so no excuse for not buying a ticket. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction to this series, if I can put my teeth in, I'll put the link to that introduction in the description as well. But as I mentioned, the route has been completely redeveloped, and what I'm going to do now is move forward, just keeping this wall in shot so you can see I haven't just gone into a random housing estate. And there, where the staircase down would have been, is what's facing you now, so nothing basically, just an estate of fairly new bungalows. And that shows you how comprehensively this route has been redeveloped. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down a little bit further. There's another pair of bridge parapets to show you just in the far distance there. I'm going to show you the site of a footbridge. I'll just show you the view back over the other wall towards Bulwell Viaduct. Incidentally, the name of this station, Bulwell Common, is a bit of a mystery. It had a suffix to differentiate it from the other stations in the area. You had Bulwell Forest on the Great Northern, Bulwell Market on the Midland Railway, now just Bulwell, that's where Bulwell Station and tram stop are. You also had Basford and Bulwell on another Great Northern line, that was renamed Basford North in 1953 to try and demystify it a little bit. But it's the common suffix. There was no such piece of land as Bulwell Common. There's never been any record of a Bulwell Common in the area. So why the Great Central picked on Bulwell Common as the name, nobody seems to know. And to be fair, we probably never will. Right, I'm off down to the next set of bridge parapets, and I'll see you down there. Something I meant to do whilst I was at the site of Bulwell Common that I forgot to do, and I'm just a little bit down the road now. is show a photograph that I've got taken by Ben Brooksbank and shared under Wikimedia Commons License 2.0. I showed it in the introductory parts of this series, but I'll just show it again. This is Bulwell Common station. So that's as it was, and this is the site of it now. These bungalows and things and houses. Just shows you how much it's been redeveloped, as I said a little bit earlier on. Next up is Kersal Drive. You can see the bridge here is slightly wider than you would expect, and that's because it was spanning the access tracks into the carriage sidings and the goods yard at Bulwell Common, as well as the up and down main lines. If I look at the left hand side here, which is towards Bulwell Common, the carriage sidings are on the left of the alignment, so the downside, and the goods yard was on the upside, so the right hand side of the alignment. You can see that the parapet wall on this side has been cut short to make way for Marvin Close there, another of the redevelopments. You can see obviously the road is where part of the bridge would have been. So last for this part, I'm going to take you down to the site of a footbridge just past here. It was a 3-span lattice girder footbridge because the line was in quite a wide cutting, so there were 2 brick piers, one either side of the line. One span went from the cutting side to the first pier, one went between the piers, and the other one went from the other pier to the other cutting side. The bridge was demolished in January 1982 and 2 spans were scrapped on site. The other one was moved about half a mile away from here to Basford to carry a footpath over the River Leen, and that'll be part 2 of this series, but I'll show you where the bridge used to be located, so we'll go down there now. So there we go, the pathway we're looking at replaces the right of way that went over the footbridge. So part 2 of this series will be a very short one. I've already recorded it actually, it's only about a minute and a half long, but it just looks at the surviving span of this footbridge in its new location in Basford. So that's part 2. Again, I'll put a link to it in the description to this video, along with links to the other parts. And in part 3 we'll start from here and we'll go on towards New Basford Station. But for now, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Sorry if it's been a bit dodgy in places. I got to Bulwell a lot earlier than I intended to. I got an earlier train. I got up there at 8 o'clock. I thought, great, I'll crack on. What I didn't realise was there's a massive school up there, so I had to kind of film in the gaps when there were no school kids about. And then every time I've started to record any footage, a load of traffic's gone past me. Between shots, walking along, there's been none whatsoever. But as I say, every time I record, every car in Nottingham's come past me. So I hope it's not spoiled your enjoyment too much. But thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.